City Clerk Kavanaugh, please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell,
Here.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Here.
Commissioner Brody,
Here.
Vice Mayor Raley,
Good evening.
Mayor Welch,
Yes.
City Manager Rose,
Here.
City Attorney Pyburn.
Here.
And I apologize, Mr. City Clerk, you had a reminder that I omitted.
Thank you, Mayor. For sound quality, please be sure to speak one at a time, speak clearly and directly into your microphone, indicate whether you are done speaking, and mute your microphone when you are not speaking. If anyone is having difficulty hearing in chambers at any time during this meeting, please raise your hand and someone will bring you an audio assistance device to help you. At this time, we kindly remind everyone to please silence all mobile devices.
All right. Will everyone please rise and join me in the pledge?
This meeting is being conducted live with a physical quorum present. The material for today's meeting is available online at www.coconutcreek.net. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purpose may need to ensure that a verbatim recording of the proceedings is made, including the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The archive of this meeting may be requested from the city clerk or may be heard online at www.coconutcreek.net.
Oh, see, they're talking about, okay, it's not, I think they want to talk about the budget. You're right, they say non-agenda items. You can do it that way.
All right, we're going to have resident input. So if you are here to speak on a non-agenda item, City Clerk will call you forward.
So we have Maria Block, who signed up to speak on a non-agenda item.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Maria Block. I'm a resident since 2014. We came from Jacksonville, from North Florida, and we came here to Coconut Creek. And coming from Jacksonville, you know, moving to a new place, it is usually kind of difficult, but actually felt once we came to Coconut Creek, we felt very welcome because it's a family city. There are so many activities and so many classes in the recreational center. So to me, it's so important, and I am so thankful that this city is such a, put so much importance in the community. So I have two kids, 6 and 10. They go to Winston Park Elementary School. Love that school. And I really enjoy these recreational classes in the center, in the recreational center, which is why I'm bringing some ideas for more classes and to have more events. So I wanted to talk about two main ideas. I don't know if each of you have this document with the ideas. Okay. So to come with these ideas, I met with a lot of my friends from Coconut Creek, people that I've met in events in the parks. And we came with some ideas. Some of these ideas is a cooking class, is something that we really like to have available in the recreational center. It is something that, you know, it's a life skill. And sadly, because of nowadays how our lives run, it's a lot of people doesn't really have the time to cook. So I think that probably having those classes will help a lot of people to learn this life skill, especially little kids. So if we have this class for all ages, it will be magnificent to boost self-confidence in kids and to help families, to have this time together and enjoy. It will be a nice class to include. Something that I wanted to also point out is the Lego-based therapy. I don't know, probably you're aware of the Lego class that runs in the recreational center. It's a good class. My kid went to that class.
Just to remind you, you have 45. Okay.
Okay. So this Lego class it was actually funded in the U.S., but it's not available in Florida. I looked for it. My kid went to this class in Ecuador, and from there they told me this was funded here in the U.S. So I really want you to look at this. I included some links. It was for kids with autism, but they figured out it's really helpful for all type of, for every kid, and because they work in a collaborative way, and it really helps with social skills. So you can just take a look at this. I really appreciate it, and all the other options that it included. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and could I direct you to the Director of Parks and Recreation at the back of the building? Wayne, might you reach out and have a discussion?
Is there anyone else here tonight, other than Ms. Block, that would like to speak on a non-agenda item? All right. If you would like to come forward, please, and state your name and address.
Patricia Snyder, 4140 Northwest 9th Court, Coconut Creek.
I apologize.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, do you know someone so special that when her name is mentioned, everyone smiles and no one has an unkind word to say about her? My friend Ruby Johnson was that special person in my life. Ruby passed away in June at age 89. You might remember seeing her at recent commission meetings where she sat in the row of neighborhood supporters who helped get the chicken code changed. After Ruby and her husband Ray raised 6 children of their own, Ruby took a job in an elementary school cafeteria where she noticed 3 siblings who always looked sad. Ruby found out that they were being abused by foster parents. Their own parents had died. Ruby and Ray adopted all 3 of the children 31 years ago. They graduated from college, married, and gave Ruby more grandchildren to love. This brief description lets you know why I am so happy that Coconut Creek is proposing 3 memorial sites with a tree/bench setting and digital stories of special loved ones from Coconut Creek. Ruby lived in South Creek, so I'm thrilled that you are considering Donaldson Park, Windmill Park, or Hosford Park for one of the sites. Ruby often visited all 3 of those parks with her kids and grandkids. I hope the budget will be approved, and especially the funding of the memorial sites. Ruby's family and friends wanted to purchase a bench honoring her, but when the city manager, Sheila, explained what the city was proposing, it sounded like a wonderful way in which to remember Ruby. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Then we'll move to agenda item 1, ordinance 2024-036. It is a first public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, establishing and adopting the City of Coconut Creek's ad valorem tax operating millage rate at 6.8988 mils for the 2025 fiscal year, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Rydell and seconded by Vice Mayor Raley. This is the first public hearing on 2 separate ordinances. First is the City of Coconut Creek's 2024 ad valorem tax rate for the 2025 fiscal year, and second, the 2025 fiscal year budget. The public may address the City Commission and staff on the tax rate or any portion of the proposed budget. Prior to the public being given the opportunity to speak, Peter Gay Lake, Finance and Administrative Services Director, will make a brief statement.
Thank you, Mayor. As stated by the mayor, this is the first public hearing on the City of Coconut Creek's proposed 2024 property tax rate ordinance for the fiscal year 2025. And the 2025 fiscal year operating and capital improvement budget ordinance. The first of these ordinances tentatively adopts an operating millage rate of 6.8988. The second ordinance tentatively adopts the proposed budget as the city's official budget for the fiscal year 2025. The city's proposed operating millage rate of 6.8988 represents a 14.72% increase over the rollback rate of 6.0134 computed pursuant to state law and represents a 7.02% increase over the current millage rate. The rollback millage rate represents the rate that would generate last year's tax revenues, less allowances for new construction and improvements. Adopting a millage rate of 6.8988 is necessary to sustain service levels and is a 0.68% decrease from the 6.9463 rate that was included on the notice of proposed property taxes, which was mailed to each property owner in August. Development of the fiscal year 25 budget began several months ago with planning, analysis, review, and assessments. Preparation of the fiscal year 25 budget presented some challenges given inflation, competing priorities, and the associated impacts on our finances and operations. Guided by community input and the City Commission directives from the March 14, 2024 Budget Strategic Planning Workshop, the fiscal year 2025 budget addresses our community's needs, desires, and priorities. 3 clear priorities were identified during this workshop: the Fire Station 113, Police Department improvements, and Main Street. The fiscal year 2025 budget begins the important work of assembling the funds to complete these critical capital priority projects in the upcoming years. In spite of these challenges, we have a balanced budget that includes a 4% wage and salary range increase for all civil service employees, administrative officers, the City Commission, and police lieutenants, sergeants, and officers, with an increase in the city's contribution from 81% to 82% of the high deductible health plan premiums for all tiers of family coverage. This budget focuses on addressing our community needs, priorities, and desires in alignment with our strategic plan, taking into consideration the city's ability to sustain the costs into the uncertain economic future. The city residents deserve and insist on quality municipal services provided in a productive and efficient manner while deriving the greatest value for dollars spent. We believe the budget contained herein does all of this. There is a handout available at the back relating to the city's property tax rate and fiscal year 2025 budget. If you desire to speak on our property tax rate or budget, please feel free to do so during the public hearing. Mayor, please declare the public hearing open.
Thank you, Peter Gay. I now declare the public hearing to be open. City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone who has signed in to speak on the city's tax rate or proposed budget?
Yes, for agenda item number 1, we have Marcel Ballot signed up to speak on this item.
If you would come to the podium and state your name and address, please, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Mayor, real quick, is the live stream, I got a message that the live stream wasn't working.
And on YouTube, I just confirmed it. Maybe they have to refresh their browser.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Marcel Blot. I'm a new owner in your community. It is my first meeting with you. I am here mostly to learn more on how you apply the taxes, and also because I received a notice saying that my tax will be like double. And I am a new owner, so I just wanted to know more on how it works, and then ask you for questions if possible. Thank you so much.
So I'd be happy to collect your information and be able to walk you through that process. You mentioned that you are a new owner.
Yes.
And sometimes with how the taxes work, the year you purchase your home, it's based on your previous owner's assessment. So now that you're in there, it would have updated based on what you purchased the home for. But I'd be happy to get your information and walk you through that entire process afterwards.
Thank you so much. That's all.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on agenda item 1? Prior to closing the public hearing, Peter Gay will make another brief announcement.
In a few minutes, the City Commission will vote on 2 ordinances. The first ordinance relates to the city's ad valorem tax rate. If adopted without change, the city's operating millage rate will be tentatively set at 6.8988 mils, which represents a 14.72% increase over the rollback rate of 6.0134 computed pursuant to state law, and a 7.02% increase over the current rate of 6.4463. The second ordinance tentatively adopts the proposed budget along with the changes made at the budget workshop held on August 7th, 2024, as the city's adopted budget for the 2025 fiscal year. Thank you.
All right. Being that there are no further comments or questions, the public hearing is declared closed. Are there any questions or comments from the City Commission on the agenda item 1? No?
No, Spiro just didn't identify what meeting, what item. So you may want to ask him.
There is someone that signed up to speak on the special budget meeting, so I'm not sure if that's agenda item 1 or 2. Well, I've already closed the public meeting. Then maybe save it for the next agenda item. Okay. There are no comments from the commission, so if City Clerk Kavanaugh will please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Wasserman.
Yes.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Raley.
Yes.
Mayor Welch.
Yes. Agenda item 2, ordinance 2024-037. Again, it is a public hearing.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, determining the amount of available funds on hand and estimated revenues for said year, appropriating the funds necessary for the operation of the city for said year, authorizing continuation of a general trust fund, authorizing continuation of grants funds, authorizing continuation of local and federal law enforcement trust funds, authorizing the continuation of the Transportation Surtax Fund, authorizing reappropriation of unspent Economic Development Division funds, and authorizing reappropriation of $500,000 of fund balance reserves for E911 dispatch services, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Rydell and seconded by Commissioner Wasserman. I'm now going to open the public hearing. Mr. City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone who has signed in to speak on this item?
Yes, we have 2 individuals signed up to speak on this item. The first individual is Spiro Edgos, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name.
That's okay. I mispronounce it all the time. Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and City Management, thank you for this opportunity. This is in regard to the Bin Doctor. That's a company that I represent. I really wanted to say that what a privilege it has been to work for your city and its residents for the last 5 years. One thing about Coconut Creek, it's amazing foresight that you guys are the first city in the whole country to actually offer this service for your residents. So congratulations on that. As we come to a close for our service, we appreciate any support that you can have in offering this. We will open this up for all the residents as a private service, as we do for Coral Springs and Parkland. And so any support we can have, we do appreciate it. And again, thank you very much for all your support, and we hope maybe in the future that we can maybe work again together.
Thank you, Spiro.
Thank you.
And the next speaker that signed up to speak on agenda item number 2 is Laura McDermott.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, Commissioners. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Women's Club of Coconut Creek. I've served as the president for the past 4 years, and just wanted to address a few things about the grant applications and how they're changing. I thank the commissioners who were willing to meet with me to discuss this issue. So, you know, we're really grateful for the partnerships that we do have with the city and the different events and stuff that we do offer. So I wanted to just address a few points that were brought up during the discussion meeting that took place in July in regards to our funding and how things have been run. So to Commissioner Rydell's point, yes, our numbers are low because of lack of support for advertising and marketing. So I'm here to ask you guys in an open way, how can we become a part of the co-sponsorships? Because we always thought that our events were co-sponsored with the city. However, I kind of got a mixed bag of information back from the different commissioners and also the city manager and speaking with her about how that works. We're very grateful for the funding that is being offered to us for this upcoming year and also for the past years that we've had. But really where we're struggling is getting the word out about our events. So particularly Santa's Brunch was brought up. Our numbers were low last year by half because we were not able to put up signs or to even have the insignia put on there that it was a co-sponsored event with the city. Right now we're in the process of trying to find vendors for the upcoming Butterfly Festival. We manage that for the city. We're about at half capacity because we're not able to utilize the relationship that we have with the city to get the vendors. So my question for you, maybe it's something to be discussed at a later time amongst yourselves, how can the Women's Club of Coconut Creek become an actual sponsor? Because there are organizations that are being sponsored on your website with signs in, on properties. So we just want to kind of figure out how we can also apply to be like that as well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this item? If so, come forward. Okay. Public hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments from the City Commission on agenda item 2?
I'd like to hear a response to the poet's question.
I'll start there. You know, for years we've had sort of
I apologize, Laura. I
that's
just
all right.
called you the poet.
A little bit of messy relationship with some of the nonprofits where we have advertised, we've not advertised others. So when we got away from the special events grant program and we developed this program of a direct donation to the various nonprofits, we felt it was important to have them all treated equally. We have the Multicultural Circle, we have the Women's Club. The city does provide free facilities that includes the staffing, the waste collection in our events for the nonprofits in the city. But the idea of opening facilities on special occasions and advertising became a very slippery slope. Because we are not allowed to promote individual businesses, we don't think it is consistent to advertise one nonprofit over another. So I think that's where, from a staff perspective, we are. I've also discussed it with Terrell, and we're very concerned about the advertising. We certainly do promote the events with staff and free facilities, but we have not done advertising on our website.
So, I mean, listen, I think I have no problem leading this off. This is a policy issue, so I don't think this is a staff issue. This is a policy issue by the commission, If there's a nonprofit doing events on city property, they should be supported across all forums in the city. Whether it's a Facebook video on Instagram, whether it's a banner, whether it's on Cocogram. I believe that. And it has been in the past. So we're double speaking here because we're talking about doing things in the past that we haven't done now. And listen, I can be critical about money that we give, and this isn't just about the Women's Club, this is about the Multicultural Circle. If you're renting, I'll give you an example. The garage sale that we do at the rec center. The city does that in conjunction with the Women's Club. It's a very well-attended event, traditionally, because we advertise for it. As a policy, pardon me, Sandy?
I don't think we do the garage sale there anymore. We do other things there.
It's a general vendor event.
They're all vendor events.
Okay, I don't know, garage
That's okay.
sale,
That's okay.
thrift shop, whatever you, I apologize
It's okay.
for the moniker on the name. But if a nonprofit is doing something on our property that we're supporting, we should give them the support across the board of not just staff. I believe that. And I'll tell you why, because it's a benefit to our residents. And I think there's a clear legal distinction, with all due respect, Madam City Attorney, with promoting a private business. If there was I get emails every day of people that have city businesses that say, hey, can we get on your Facebook feed? Can we get this? My answer is no, we can't do that. That's private industry. But if a nonprofit is doing something to the benefit of our residents, and I will tell you this right now, listen, I'm not a member of the Women's Club. My girls have gone every year. Pardon me? Well, yeah. Well, that's a whole other discussion on like gender discrimination, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now. The point I'm making is if there's an event on city property, with all due respect, I believe city resources should be available. I don't know the level of that. That's a staff level decision. But if it's a video, if it's a promotion, if it's for example, the Multicultural Circle, if it's Mickey saying a video or a banner or a Cocogram, to me, that's an absolute no-brainer that we need to support our nonprofits that are doing things strictly to benefit our residents. So that, policy-wise, that's where I stand on that issue. I have other comments about the budget, but I'd like to hear my colleagues' comments on that issue in terms of policy.
Commissioner Brody? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Commissioner Brody. I believe Commissioner Wasserman had already clicked in.
You forgot the button. You forgot the button. I agree with the Commissioner Rydell. If it is on property, if our facilities are being used, I do agree with the advertising. But if there is a flyer to be made, that does come from our staff. I mean, would the flyer be made from our staff? Would the flyer be made by the nonprofit? That's a nuance I don't know. So I don't know what you were thinking in regards to that. If they were to put a flyer on social media, would that come from our staff or would it come from them?
To answer your question, I'm not trying to, I think that's, and I don't, with all due respect, I think that's like way in the weeds. I think we're getting a little lower level. I'm not trying to suggest that, but I think it's an astute comment because is it something Yvonne is creating or is it something she's not? I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying the city should be promoting, on a policy level, the city should be promoting its nonprofits that are doing something. And I'm not going to just say necessarily on city property because the truth is if SOS is doing an event, we're partners with them. If tomorrow's Rainbow is doing an event, they should be able to, these are city nonprofits that do things to benefit people. So that's my belief. We have the jail and bail. I don't think traditionally, but I mean, we've shared things as a city before, but that's a great event. That's just what I believe for the nonprofits. That's my position. So Jeff, to answer your question, I didn't envision going sub-level.
But there is cause, in all due respect, that does, if we were to create flyers for SOS or this and that does take away from our staff. So I'm okay with the advertising, but I do think that the nonprofit should provide the graphic or whatever that might be. I do think that pulls away from our staff and focusing on city-led things if they were to create the flyers or the videos themselves. So maybe in tandem, maybe something. I'm sorry to get down in the weeds, but if we're going to go down that path, we have to kind of get to that point because it's going to affect our staff overall. So, but I am okay with advertising to support them, but it has to be, in my opinion, in tandem or them providing the materials.
Commissioner Brody?
Yeah, I'm more than willing to say that we need to help the nonprofits in our city and be able to put that out because that's a burden that now we're giving them money and they're going to be spending money on advertising. Kind of defeats the purpose. If we can help them out, I'm all for doing some of that advertising as far as posting it, but I'm kind of in the agreement of Jeff that it needs, or sorry, Commissioner Wasserman, that they need to provide what they want to do, and then the staff needs to make sure that it doesn't, contradict any policies that we have within the city. And I think that's a good way to do it. I think that this is something that we can help, and especially since in a year that we've cut some of the money back, I feel obligated to help them out with that. I mean, internet is free, right? We're going to post what they give us on there. All we need to do is supervise what they're giving us. I'm fine with that.
Vice Mayor Raley.
Thank you. Yeah, I also agree that we could advertise on the internet, on our website, and as long as it doesn't involve an additional cost and staff time, I'd be all for that. Yeah.
I concur, but with a caveat that we do have a city attorney. So I mean, if we're going to be advertising someone else's material, how and who vets that? Because if we're putting it on our website to ensure that, you see where I'm going with this? So what kind of review would you think would be appropriate? I'm looking at both of you, city manager and city attorney.
I think we're hearing your policy direction pretty clearly, so why don't you let us just flush it out and get back to you with the policy.
Flushing is good.
Flushing.
Everybody okay with that? All right. All right, then
Listen,
the ball's in your court.
Yeah, I think the budget is great. I want to just address, I think Spiro real quick. Listen, I think Commissioner Brody said it really right in our budget workshop, and I know we haven't got into that. I think that this is a year of want versus need. I think that's saying's been around a while, but I think economically speaking, the hairline gave it away. I'm joking, sorry. I think want versus need is a really important thing, and in Spiro, I think our staff is committed to trying to figure out like HOAs and HOA relationships and things like that, and I think we're just trying to save all of our residents as much money as possible for a budget increase. So I think that, I know our staff is committed to the service. I think people have been happy with the service, and I think some of the associations, including my own, are looking into the independent relationship there, and I think that's where we can gear it. And obviously, I support our budget, I support our millage rate, and I think it's in the best interest of the city. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Well, I'll wrap it up then, and I really concur because, Spiro, in all honesty, you were always the first, as was Coconut Creek, and there are many residents that are truly interested in continuing the service on their own one-to-one basis, and I think that speaks volumes for what you have offered. So I think you can be very proud of that as well, and hopefully you will not take it personally. It's just been a very difficult year in all of the things that we need to ensure that we do on behalf of all of our most critical infrastructure for our police and our fire. So Vice Mayor Raley put her light on, and then I forgot my next statement. So I'll just wrap it up. Vice Mayor Raley?
Thank you. I just want to say as well, thank you, Spiro, for your service for the last 5 years. And can I say exceptional service? Everyone was happy with it. So, and hopefully at some point we can get back to it. Thank you.
All right. If there are there any further comments, questions? Then I'm going to ask City Clerk Kavanaugh, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wasserman?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Raley?
Yes.
Mayor Welch?
Yes. Resolution 2024-131, a resolution relating to the funding and provision of fire rescue protection services, facilities, and programs in the city of Coconut Creek, Florida, establishing the rate of assessment for fiscal year 2025, imposing fire protection services assessment against assessed property located within the city, and approving the assessment roll. And this is a public hearing. Is there a motion and a second to approve agenda item?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Commissioner Rydell and seconded by Echo. Commissioner Brody. All right.
All right.
Peter Gay?
This resolution establishes the fire assessment rates for fiscal year 2025, which represents a 7% increase. Single-family rates will increase from $283.14 to $302.96, and multifamily rates will increase from $254.83 to $272.67. This adjustment ensures full cost recovery, addresses annual operating cost increases, and incorporates provisions for the Fire Collective Bargaining Agreement. The new rates, detailed in Exhibit A of the backup material, are lower than the 10% increase initially proposed in the Notice of Proposed Property Taxes mailed to the property owners in August. During the August 7, 2024 Commission workshop, the City Commission reached a consensus to proceed with the reduced 7% increase, which will be approved tonight. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments from the City Commission? Commissioner Rydell?
Yeah, I think the only thing that's the most important to say is, Jeff, you'd agree with me that our response times for fire have continually gone down since going to Coral Springs? That's all I have. Thank you.
He'll probably even tell you how much. All right. Any other comments from the commission? All right, then I'm going to open the public hearing, and City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone who signed up to speak on this agenda item number 3?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak on agenda item 3? If so, please come forward. Okay, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments more from the commission? All right. And Mr. City Clerk Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wasserman?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Raley?
Yes.
Mayor Welch?
Yes. Agenda item 4 is Resolution 2024-132, a resolution relating to the collection and disposal of solid waste in the city of Coconut Creek, establishing the rate of assessment for fiscal year 2025, reimposing solid waste services assessment against assessed property located within the city, and approving the assessment roll. And it is a public hearing. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Rydell and seconded by Commissioner Wasserman. Peter Gay again.
Thank you. This resolution sets the solid waste assessment rate for single-family homes for fiscal year 2025. The rate to be imposed will be $312.48 per year, which represents a decrease of 8.87% over the current rate. The decrease is mostly attributed to the discontinuation of the cleaning and sanitizing of the solid waste bin twice a year, as well as other minor administrative charges. Thank you.
Are there questions or comments from the City Commission?
Yeah, I have just a
Commissioner
brief one
Rydell?
for Madam Rose. Madam Rose, I know we had spoke briefly. I'm just curious about the size of the garbage cans. I know it has nothing to do with today, but I think it was an important point you brought out. I'm just curious the timeline of potential resizing option for some residents.
Thank you, Commissioner Rydell. We have actually already reached out to the individuals that requested the smaller trash cans. I know at the time there were 40 available, and we will now make that an option available so that somebody who struggles with a large bin and doesn't need one can certainly have the smaller bin.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madam Rose.
Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. I'm going to open the public hearing, and Mr. City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone that signed up to speak on this item?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this item? Okay. Then public hearing is now closed. Any questions from the commission? All right. Mr. City Clerk Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wasserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Raley,
Yes.
Mayor Welch.
Yes. Agenda item 5, Resolution 2024-113 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute the attached collective bargaining agreement between the City of Coconut Creek and the Local 3080 Metro Broward Professional Firefighters International Association of Firefighters District 16, Coconut Creek, Florida. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wasserman and seconded by Commissioner Rydell.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I am pleased to be presenting our first fire rescue collective bargaining agreement alongside our Fire Chief Gary and our Local 3080 District Vice President Captain Wyatt Adams. We, the city and the union, have worked together collaboratively over the past 10 months. We've had 20 public bargaining sessions, and we present to you what we believe is a mutually beneficial collective bargaining agreement that defines the compensation, benefits, and terms and conditions of employment for our fire rescue personnel. If I could, I'd just like to quickly recognize the efforts of the bargaining team members. Specifically, the union's representatives included Captain Wyatt Adams, right here, Captain Lang Jacobs, Battalion Chief Mike Hicks, Captain George Garzone, and retired Battalion Chief Brett Lee. The city's representatives who worked alongside me included Assistant Chief Kevin Sullivan, who is back here, retired Deputy Chief Brian Blizzard, and HR Manager Tim McPherson, who's also here. Supplemented by the subject matter expertise of Fire Chief Jeff Gary, Assistant Fire Chief Tony Chin, Risk Manager Sanjeev Basessar, Finance Director Peter Gay Lake, Payroll Operations Manager Priscilla Omo, Human Resources Generalist Heather Schwartz, and Benefits Program Manager Leticia Larriere. And Heather's here too, by the way. And of course, with the support and guidance of our City Manager Sheila Rose and our City Attorney Terrell Pyburn. The bargaining unit members voted this week and voted favorably to ratify the agreement, so we're here to request your approval for the agreement as well, and we're happy to address any questions you might have.
Are there any questions or comments from the commission? I see Commissioner Brody.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
So I only have one question, and it's a question I asked actually after we did the police one too. Are the firefighters happy with this contract?
I'm going to defer to Captain Wyatt, Captain Adams on this one.
The fire department voted in favor of it, so it appears that they are.
All right, so no party or nothing, just, you know, a good nod, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so understanding that this is the first one we had to do, and, you know, we want the world, we don't get the world, this is how it works. But understanding that you know, I want to make sure that our guys are out there that are saving our lives are taken care of too. So let's just make sure that we keep that in mind when we do these negotiations in the next couple of years, that whatever we missed on this one, to circle back in the next couple of years and just take care of our guys out there, okay? Because they definitely take care of us. Trust me, I'm by 113, I hear it all the time. And brings joy to my heart when I see all the positive stuff coming out of the social media about how you guys treat our residents and small businesses. So I'm happy that we came to a good conclusion. I'm happy that the firefighters are happy with this. And let's go out there and save some lives, guys.
Vice Mayor Raley.
I just want to say thank you. I know it's been a long journey to get to this point, but job well done. Thank you very much. City really appreciates it, all your efforts. And I know it took 10 months to get to where we're going, but I'd also like it to be noted that this contract is retroactive. So, yes.
Aspects of it, yes.
Yes, aspects of
wages,
it are
yes.
retroactive. So you'll be back there in 2 more years, even though it's a 3-year contract.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I too want to thank the team, but most of all, I want to thank all of those men and women under the guidance and the leadership of those at the fire rescue for our very first own fire rescue department in Coconut Creek. Nobody will ever be able to say that. So those that were participating in it, we're extremely proud of you, and already received all the ratings that we could wish for. I know there's more, but I mean, and in record time. So just thanks all the way around. Really, really appreciate it. Are there any members of the public who have signed up?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this item? Just a moment. Any more comments from the City Commission? All right, then City Clerk Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wasserman?
Yes.
Commissioner Brody?
Of course, yes.
Vice Mayor Raley?
Yes.
Mayor Welch?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Then,
Move to adjourn.
thank you.